Murder has taken place here.
Oh my God, they're burning!
Overwhelming paranormal evidence in the Station Hotel in Dudley.
Oh my God, did you see that?
Welcome to Most Haunted. This week we've been invited to the Station Hotel in Dudley, where there's been an awful lot of poltergeist activity, eerie feelings and spectral sightings. We just had to come and investigate.
The Station Hotel dates back to 1863. Some people believe that the hotel started life as a manor house, but according to records, this is not true. Only fields lay where the hotel stands to this day. Across from the hotel was the famous Opera House, where many famous actors walked the boards and used the hotel for their accommodation. It's believed a murder took place in the early 1900s. The manager allegedly murdered a young chambermaid in the cellars and put her body in a beer barrel. Some people still believe her remains are hidden within the hotel grounds.
There's stories that there was possibly an old manor house here as well, and they believe that the cellars are possibly the original cellars from that manor house. It's active at the moment, things are happening. It's a hotel, guests are reporting sightings, the staff are having things happening to them. We may well see something tonight.
A cellar is a foreboding place at the best of times, but this cellar was the scene of a gruesome murder. A young maid was killed by a past landlord and her lifeless body was just dumped into a beer barrel. Found guilty, the landlord later hanged for his evil deeds.
I was down in the cellar and I put all the barrels together ready for the delivery, and I went to another part of the cellar to do an order, and when I came back the barrels had actually moved from where I'd put them up against the wall, lined up in order. I heard the barrels moving, but I just assumed it was another member of staff down there, but it wasn't. There was no one else in the building.
They lead the Dudley Ghost Walk from this place and come back at the end. Things happen to people on the Ghost Walks. Only a few years ago they had an actor and actress reenacting a murder that reputedly took place in the basement. They have a lady in Victorian costume standing at the top of the stairs of the cellar and a gentleman dressed as the landlord at the bottom with the ghost walkers. The lady was waiting for her cue when an entity came up the stairs towards her. It was see-through, but she could tell that it was a lady dressed in Victorian clothes. She stared at it, stepped back. It walked up the stairs past her and vanished. She missed her cue. Everyone came up to see what was wrong, and she was just standing at the top of the stairs, shaking like a leaf.
Staff members have had knives thrown at them, and a ghostly image of an elderly gentleman dressed in black has been seen on many occasions sitting at this table as if he's waiting for something. But what is he waiting for?
The head chef come back with a cousin and this male friend who's never been in this place before, and he said there was 6 people up there. He said there was 4. He said he was like a kind of medium, and he saw 4 people sitting down and 2 people standing up.
There has been an incident where one duty manager had a knife come up the table at her in the restaurant, and there was no one there.
I never look up the end of the restaurant when I come into the restaurant, especially when the lights are out. And if somebody sends me over to the kitchen, I just walk straight through into the kitchen and never look, just in case I see him.
Cold spots and dark, ghostly figures have been seen in this particular corridor, but it's the 5 adjoining bedrooms that are of particular interest. Rooms 213 to 217 have all witnessed the same spectral image. In this room, 214, a gentleman was lying asleep in bed. He woke up to find the ghost of a lady staring at him. Again, another gentleman woke up to find the same lady staring at him from this chair.
People have reported seeing a lady in white. Now, of course, in the cellar, story has it that one of the maids was murdered, and they believe that it's her tormented soul that still wanders around those bedrooms that, of course, she used to tend to when she was alive here.
When I first came here, which was like 12 months ago, I hadn't heard nothing. So I went into one of the rooms to sleep for the night, and I had an experience in the room.
Well, I've had residents coming down in the middle of the night crying that there's people been in the rooms and there's a lady been lying over them and like really scared, and I mean big men crying.
I got into bed, went to sleep, woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had a swooshing noise in my ears. And I thought, there's somebody in here with me. And I thought I saw a woman in the room with me.
This chap come down in the morning, and I mean, he was 6 foot hard, built like a brick house, and he was white. And he says, "Can I change rooms?" I don't know if I'm going to believe this, he says, but I was asleep, he said, and he woke up and saw somebody standing in the corner of the bedroom. And then he felt something on his chest, and he couldn't move. And he had to stop another week, and he was petrified.
I'm open-minded. I believe there's something, but whether it's ghosts or not.
I think it was a ghost. Definitely.
Phil Wyman, our paranormal investigator, had spent time getting to know the building prior to the crew's arrival. Taking temperatures, feeling for drafts and EMF fluctuations are just a small part of what's called a baseline test. Once Phil has recorded all the average readings, any unusual fluctuations can then be evaluated scientifically.
When you look at this particular building, you don't think it's anything eerie to look at, but why do you find it an interesting place to investigate?
Well, the amount of poltergeist activity connected with this hotel is unbelievable. We've had people being touched, knives being thrown at bar staff, things whispered in their ears, papers being moved, all sorts of things like that happening.
Now, what about this particular room here? Because I know this table's quite important.
This table where we're actually sat, there's a ghost of a man dressed in black who's been seen here quite regularly. They called him George, and this is his table, apparently.
Now, they say he's quite friendly and that the ghosts, supposed ghosts here, are quite friendly, but I don't call knife-throwing friendly, do you?
No, it's not the friendliest way to welcome somebody, I must admit.
So, which out of the supposed hauntings do you find particularly interesting?
I'm more interested in the ghost of the White Lady with the rooms upstairs. Hopefully we can do a vigil in one of the rooms, room 214 or 217 are the most active. We can hopefully pick something up later on there.
Judging by experiences people have had, I think you're in for a good night. Hopefully.
As usual, Derek Okora, our spiritualist medium, was not aware of the location, its history, or its ghosts. Only a few of us knew of the murder that had taken place in the cellar in the early 1900s. So we were impressed that Derek wanted to start his investigation in the basement.
Oh. Did you go in here? Mm-hmm. Oh, OK. There's a murder taking place here. There's a murder has taken place here. A lady's life was taken.
Who's the lady?
She was killed by a man. Her life was taken by a man. Who? She's screaming something out here. Come on. She keeps on, she said it 4 or 5 times. Him! Him! And I'm listening what? Him! George! 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 Now what does that mean, please? What does that mean? George. The name George doesn't really want to be down here. The lady's drawing attention to George. Drawing attention. We go up to higher levels with George. Higher levels.
Right.
His activity is most apparent.
George, can you give us a surname?
I keep on asking.
Yeah, sorry.
Come on. Say it again, Sam. What is he? Thank you. He keeps on saying these words. George, proprietor. George, proprietor.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. There's 2 Georges here.
Right.
There's 2, not 1. There's 2. And he's telling me the other George is the one who will talk to us. Okay, that's good. Talk to us on the higher levels.
Right.
Okay? Oh, that's good, that's good. Thank you. Okay. George was not hanging. George was not hanging. George did not hang. He wasn't hung. Okay, thank you, bless you, bless you. 2 children are also in visitation here.
Gosh.
Up in the area of the passageways,
Right.
by bedrooms.
Right.
They play about.
Right.
Yes. Okay, so does George.
Right.
He's everywhere.
Who is the woman? Can Sam give us a name who the woman is?
Okay. He gives me 2 conditions. Now, I don't know if there are 2 names or whether they were like 2 first names, or I don't even know if it sounds like a surname, but I got Elizabeth and I got Anne. Mm-hmm. Elizabeth and Anne. Mm-hmm. Now, whether the 2 names connected with her. And it sounded like... Say it again, please. Now, they are connected. Elizabeth and the name Anne and Hitchin.
Hitchin?
Hitchin.
Right, okay.
And you think that that's the name connected with the woman that was killed here?
I believe it's some connection to her.
Right.
Yes. And, do you know how I can put it? Unsolved.
Right.
Without a doubt.
Do we know how she was murdered? Did Sam give you that?
Thank you, Sam. Sam said here, when we go to a particular area, that energy, okay, will interfold with us and we'll get that information there.
Should we have a
Okay, tell me, yes.
Is it down here? Still down here? That's where the murder... You're saying down here. Do we stay in this cellar area?
These conditions, I'll take you to where
Yeah.
they told me,
Yeah.
shall we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Already, Derek had picked up on the tragic murder, but would he be able to tell us where and how she was killed? Derek had led us to a part of the basement in the station hotel where he thought the young chambermaid was murdered.
This is it. Round this area, this lady's life was taken from her, murdered, without a doubt. And the residual energy tells me so. I'm picking up puncture wounds, but also strangulation. Mm-hmm. The throat.
When you say puncture wounds, do you mean a knife?
There was, yes, I feel strangulation and then puncture wounds. That sticks in the atmosphere for all time. That can't be taken away. But for some reason, these walls here and what we've got here wasn't the way, most certainly, when this lady lost her life. Mm-hmm. This wasn't here.
Why? Why was she murdered by him?
Why was she murdered by him? There's a person that would know about this. He's another spirit person. He comes in visitation, and apparently this is the other George that's going to be on the higher levels.
So he will be able to tell.
Yeah, I'm just being told that now.
Right, great.
Derek had led us upstairs to the dining room where knives had been thrown and the ghost of a man has been seen sitting at one of the tables. Richard Felix, our historian, was watching our progress in the monitor room.
The person who knows about this Clever mind, this man. Well respected. And around him I've got connections with beer and like brewery. And him being very knowledgeable about ale. And how do I pronounce that? George Lawler or Lawley? Lawley.
Richard, see that
Lawley.
here?
Hello?
George Lawley.
Can you check that up, please?
Will do.
George Lawley. Any more at this place? He did not reside here, but close by. And he knew the knowledge of here. A very knowledgeable man.
When you say he knew the knowledge of here, do you mean he knew of the murder?
I believe so, yes.
Right, okay.
Lawley.
Lawley.
He's confirmed it. Lawley.
Right.
I'm also getting impressions of him. The man.
We certainly do have George. Lawley I don't know about, but in fact the incident in the cellar is to do with our landlord that was called George.
This is a separate George. Yes.
No, this is a separate George.
Who's
George,
knowledgeable
who's
of this.
knowledgeable of the murder, called George Lawley.
Right, leave it with me a bit longer. I'll have a look through, see what I can find.
He's knowledgeable of what George did.
Right.
Oh. She threatened, thank you. She threatened to tell the proprietor's loved ones of their togetherness.
Ah,
It was an affair.
right. It was an affair.
Yeah, she was young as well. He dragged her by the legs along down there for where he didn't leave her. He dragged her along for some reason, and it seems as if he took her up on something. It's an angle like this. Like, not a stairwell, but something.
Like a chute.
Yes.
Just from the cellar area?
Yes.
Because there is a barrel drop sort of chute that comes out from the street.
That's where
But he's angled.
He got her out, yeah.
It got her up onto the street then?
Yeah. Historian. What do you mean, historian? Is it George? George Lawley.
Right,
He knows,
right.
or he knew.
This George, the proprietor's surname, is there any way you can give us another name?
Can you get that for me, please? You should be able to do that for me. Now, in answering that, I don't know if that's a surname or, again, like a second name, but he said, not spontaneous, but said after a matter of our seconds, George William. I don't know if it's George William or George Williams. So what I can figure here is that here we have a person, a man, who took the life away of this young lady, bless her, because she was ready to speak out to people close to him about the attachment, and he silenced her. With the remorse and what have you, he naturally is being kept in this atmosphere. You keep on asking how he did away with the physical remains of the female, and what I got mentally was that I'm covered up. I'm covered up. I'm buried. I'm under the ground. He took her out, but only took her out so far, and something to do with just merely outside, but under the ground. For where that chute is, in area, I feel probably close by in yards, is where she is down
Outside?
there. Yes.
So she's underneath the
Yes.
outside bit?
Yeah.
With the lights off, the whole hotel was thrown into darkness. We all carefully made our way up to the haunted bedrooms. Hopefully, Derek would be able to tell us who was causing so much disruption.
Now, I'm becoming aware, and it's only just slightly building now, becoming aware of feelings of movement from my left side, which would be in the vicinity of this bed, over towards this window. One individual. This individual is not an adult. This individual's essence would be of a child. Like a feeling of wanting to, bounce on the bed or just be playful and what have you. However, that's that energy. When I say the energy of the child once being here. but a different matter towards the window here. I feel as if, like, I want to talk about the female who lost her life. I feel her energy comes in this direction as well. She comes in, and I feel it could be the essence of her seeing the child and just watching happily the child bouncing. Okay, and I feel those joint energies come in, which are very, very pleasant to each other.
Right.
That's where I feel that you know, what's going on here. I feel it's like a playfulness and a watching from this section. So any activity that actually is in this area at times is most definitely is pleasant. It's nothing negative.
Nothing negative at all.
None at all.
Nothing to worry about.
Not at all.
Do they see things as they are now, or do they see things as how they used to be?
Yes, she would know that this was, in essence, a bed,
Right.
but not necessarily seeing it, and this room and what have you, as it is now, is what they fashioned the thoughts of maybe what their room that they were in.
Right.
They would know this naturally was a mattress,
Right.
but wouldn't see through the spiritual eyes as seeing the colour and decor as it is now.
Right.
So do you think from what you're picking up in this room now, do you think it would be worth doing a vigil in this room?
Very much so,
Setting
yes.
a camera up?
Yeah, I do.
Right.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Because I feel that you're going to find, after a short space of time, I feel that this girl child, and especially if the lady who was murdered, if she was to come into this room, which I feel she no doubt will, any movement or action around these areas, they are the two major spiritual players that would do it here.
Do you want to move into a different room?
Can we?
Yeah, let's do
Okay.
that.
This is the hub. This is the place where we have such mixed emotions, I suppose, of anger, disappointment. You know, I feel as if people have been at times scared out of their wits when they were trying to get sleep here, and all caused by the activity of spirit movement in here. Spirit noises.
So it's the same spirit people doing exactly the same thing in different rooms?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, OK, let's take it in this context. We're out of the physical body, being in spirit form. And just by thought, we can be transported from here, OK, into the next room, and within less than half a minute, and do whatever activity, and just, you know? And that's how speedy they can be. So gives the impression, hey, it could be a number of spirits.
But it's not.
It's not.
Right.
Derek had mentioned that the ghost of the murdered woman Elizabeth and the children may be more forthcoming with women. So Kath, the makeup lady, Suzanne, our PA, and myself went into room 217 to try to encourage some kind of activity. Meanwhile, Derek, Phil and Carl had gone back down to the cellars. Maybe with less people present, one of the spirits Derek had contacted would make their presence known.
George, it's Derek. I'm here with Carl and Phil. We're here and we're very interested if you'd like to manifest, do what you can. Give us a sound, give us a voice. We're here as friends. It is up to you, my good friend. We're here in peace and harmony for you. We mean you no harm.
How do you feel about being in this room?
I don't feel much at the moment. It's actually not one of them rooms that, you know, some rooms you only think, oh, it's got a weird smell and that spooks you out, or it's really cold and that spooks you out. It's quite a nice feeling to the room. But just because of, you know, what Derek said and everything, that does put the heebie-jeebies up you, doesn't it? It don't care whether it feels like a nice room or not, it's still like, oh my God, something could happen in here.
Yeah.
Oh, I do want to see something.
Well, particularly because you know they're you know, nice
There's
people
no harm.
and there's no harm, and you know. Let's talk about what men can be
you know, sometimes. I think that might help. What do we reckon to men?
Well, according to Elizabeth, if that's her name, the man that she was with murdered her. And how low can you get?
That is disgraceful.
Well, I'm just wondering why he murdered her, and if she wants to say something about that, I think she should say it here with us, because we're girls together. And if she's angry about it or annoyed, then let us know. If she's here with us and listening to us. I mean, surely it can't be difficult for you just to give us an idea that you're here.
Now that Derek had shed some light on the hauntings of the hotel, we were all eager to see if anything paranormal would occur. None of us realised we were about to witness our most compelling evidence to date.
Oh my God, did you see that?
Try your best, George. To the good lady, if you're in this area, again, we wish you no harm, only love.
What are you picking up on the EMF? I'm picking up on it, yeah. There's nothing here. Is there anything under the floor or something?
It's an energy. I'm looking in that area. Building up here.
Okay, it's neat. On your baseline tests, was there anything?
No.
And did you put it towards low to the floor like that? And
I literally walked from this corner over here like this. Didn't know. That stopped.
Yeah. You obviously had energy there.
That stopped.
Yeah.
Totally.
yeah, it's gone
Stopped,
completely.
it's gone completely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Come and sit on the bed with us.
Come and have a chat. Come and tell us what it's like where you are. Are we in your home? Do you still see it as your home? Are we intruding your house?
Do you want us to leave? Touch one of us, or wrap something, or move a chair, or sit in a chair. Oh, there was something move over there.
What?
No, maybe it's me.
What?
I saw a light or something over there. See anything?
Oh, can you see it?
Yeah.
Did you see that, Suzanne?
I saw it with my eyes.
Wow.
Was it over in the corner? Yeah, by the chair. I saw that with my naked eye.
Do you know what I've got on my legs? Oh my God.
What?
I've got the most amazing hot feeling all over the tops of my thighs. Oh my God, they're burning hot.
Really? Can we feel them?
Oh my God. They're burning. They're burning. They're burning hot.
Actually, you are really warm.
Oh, but they're burning. They're burning.
That's really strange.
They are burning hot. I can't believe that.
Wow. And what did you see in the corner, guys? Lights? You know, like...
Just a little light. Isn't that weird that the heat sensation has gone now off my legs?
Go, Bennett.
What?
My head.
What are you feeling?
I've now got ringing in my ears.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my head's in a vice.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Tight?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, I've got someone here now. Oh, he's over there. Over there. You see the spirit light there?
I saw something, yeah.
There was him. He's there. This is George. Yeah.
It looked just like some of the old pictures you got on your digital camera.
this is one of the easiest things if they wish to do this. You can come right to the cranial conditions head.
It's gone.
It's gone now.
It's gone completely.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. It's gone completely.
It's gone now.
Absolutely gone completely.
Yeah.
And I was almost thinking of going because it was just getting closer and closer in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you feel the bed moving?
What?
Did you feel that? I thought it was you moving.
Was that you?
That was you. No, I didn't move.
That was you.
I went like that to show you, but it felt like it moved like that.
I felt a judder, but I thought it was you, and then I just said, you go, did you feel the bed move? It was like, yeah, it was you.
Then I went like that.
And it wasn't you the first time.
No.
Okay. So, are you here? Did you try and move the bed? Could you show yourself to us? Could you? Could you just make a noise? Can you rap on something? Could you do that for us? Could you rap on some? You saw that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Can you do that again? Could you do that again? We know that you're here in the room with us. We do know that. Thank you so much. Could you do something else? Oh my God, did you see that? Did you see it? Did you see that?
Maybe it's the lady.
If it is Elizabeth, could you show us again? Could you show us again a light or anything? Could you?
So we had managed to catch a few light anomalies, and Kath was sure she felt the bed move. Carl, Derek and Phil had also caught a light anomaly and a bad headache. We all regrouped to decide where we would investigate next. It was at this point that Kath discovered some scratches on her face.
That's something we've just noticed here. Derek, just tell us what we've just noticed with Kath.
Yes, very clearly, to Kath's left side of her high cheek bone there, it's quite obvious. You can see 3 scratch marks, 2 quite large and 1 smaller to the middle.
And I had the hot feeling on my legs.
Yeah.
And we've just looked now, and we've got little scratch marks on the cheek.
I feel that it's. I could feel before, like my cheek burning. Not burning, but getting hot. Yeah, I've been quite cold.
My legs got burning.
I've been quite cold for most of the evening, and when you said that, I was feeling a little bit like a red.
A marking as you experience the heat to your thighs. Kath has also explained the heat to her face, but not a scratching. No one, to my knowledge, quite knows how they go about doing these things.
Unbeknownst to the rest of the crew, Stuart, our rigger, had decided to take it upon himself to go down into the cellar on his own to do a little investigation.
God, I'm so scared, I'm shaking. I'm going to conduct my own little séance now. If there's anybody here, please show yourself. George. Are you there, George? If you are, make yourself known, please. I've come down here all by myself to see if there is any ghosts in this cellar. I think there is. There's not many people out there who'd come down a cellar all on their own at night time or early hours in the morning and do what I'm doing. I've got to give myself 10 out of 10 for this. I am scared. I'm absolutely petrified. I'm shaking. I really am. I suppose this is a bit of a tester for me as well to see if I can actually do this on my own. If there's anybody there, please show yourself. I can't hear anything just yet. He may have been and gone. I don't know. You never know, I might be scaring them more than they're scaring me.
Apart from a few strange noises, Stuart experienced nothing but fear. Back in bedroom 217, Phil and myself wanted to see if a male presence would make a difference to the supposed female spirits.
Right, I've got the usual tools with us at the moment. I've got two of the usual tools.
What have you got?
I've got the EMF meter for electromagnetic field fluctuation detection. And we've got the digital or infrared thermometer.
So what's the temperature reading here at the moment?
The average temperature of the room at the moment is 18 degrees. That's probably about the right temperature. I don't particularly feel anything atmospheric in the room at the moment. It just feels like a normal hotel room. You do think?
Yeah, exactly. To me, it doesn't feel at all. What was that?
Did you hear that then?
I did hear that.
I thought I heard something.
What was that?
I don't know. A little rattle or something.
No, I just felt like a little rattle and then a little squeak.
Yeah.
There's a strange noise, isn't there? But it's. I think it could be possibly movement from another room. It's definitely there.
Yeah, I thought it was something outside.
Did you hear that then?
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear the door?
Yeah. A creaking noise.
Yeah.
I can't pinpoint where that sound's coming from, to be honest. 1 minute it sounds like it's coming from my right, next minute it sounds like it's coming from my left.
Is that me or is it getting worse?
Yeah, it sounds to be getting sort of stronger, doesn't it?
My thought is that if you are put into a room, say for instance I was visiting here or I was working here and they put me into this room, I had no idea that it was haunted, then I would just put the telly on and go to sleep and that would be that.
Yeah, I think I'd do the same.
I wouldn't be scared because I wouldn't know. But once you know, if you went now and you said, right, Yvette, you've got to sleep in here on your own, I wouldn't sleep because I'd be expecting something to happen. I think that's the thing. If you tell people that somewhere is haunted, their expectancy of something to happen is very high.
Yeah, that's why you've got to sort of try and get hold of your imagination and sort of keep it suppressed, as it were.
Okay. Tell me what you're hearing.
I can hear a creaking noise, and again.
Where's it coming from?
To me, it's coming from straight ahead.
To me, it's coming from the left. It
Right.
sounds to me like it's the bed next to us.
Oh, right. So what do you feel?
I feel fine. I feel absolutely fine.
It's not scary at all, is it, at the moment?
No, but I wouldn't sit here on my own. Would you?
Probably for a little while. Here I am. Yeah, I'll sat in the chair.
How do you feel sitting in the chair?
Don't feel any different from when I was sat on the bed.
Yeah.
So, you okay?
I'm tired, yeah. I'm ready to go to sleep.
You were nodding off then, weren't you?
I'm so tired.
After our filming was completed and we were viewing the tapes back, we came across the most amazing footage to date. A locked-off night vision camera had been left running at 3:30 a.m. for approximately 1 hour. But 35 minutes into the tape, this happened. At first, it looks as though nothing is moving, but if we speed the tape up by 30 times, you see that the chair shifts its position. Then amazingly, the bed moves. The total duration for this activity is 6 minutes. We know skeptics would say that someone could have moved the furniture as a trick, but all we can say is that the room was locked and every member of our crew was accounted for. Even stranger, the night before we started filming, Phil Wyman had slept in room 214 and felt the bed move. Kath, our makeup lady, also felt the same thing.
Did you feel the bed move then?
What?
Even though this footage can be technically criticised because there are not enough views of the room, the Most Haunted crew are amazed at this footage of room 214.
Overall, I was really pleased with the investigation and the amount of evidence or possible evidence for paranormal activity that we got on camera. In the end, I was pleased that we actually did the investigation here. It's got a lot of history of paranormal activity, as we know. It could even warrant another investigation, but you know, who knows?
Derek came up with some revelations. Quite a lot of it he got right. He came up with a chap called George. Now, they nicknamed the ghost George, but I mean, there's no smoke without fire. That name's come from somewhere.
The highlight of the night for me was catching the chair moving and the bed moving in room 214. As we know, nobody was in the room. We were all accounted for. The room was sealed off. I think it's just a fantastic piece of footage to get on camera.
In this particular bedroom, I felt, hey, this is going to be a night to be remembered. I feel as if these spirit people are not only going to try and communicate through the mediumship, they are going to do things.
The footage we have here of the bed and the chair moving is very compelling because up till now, a lot of poltergeist cases have only talked anecdotally about items of furniture moving. Here we have actual footage. The fact that 2 other crew members reported the bed moving prior to this actual footage is interesting, and it adds somewhat to the validity of seeing the furniture moving. However, for me, it's anecdotal report. It doesn't really count as any sort of evidence. I'd be even more impressed if we could possibly get a structural engineer in to look at vibration, look at whether local traffic or trains would have any effect on the furniture in this particular room, also look at whether the floor is level or not. If a structural engineer came in and gave the room the okay, the all clear, I'd be very impressed.
Oh my God, did you see that? Did you see it?
The light anomalies that we see in some of the footage, we're getting kind of a floating action. It's not just from the top down to the bottom. And I'd be quite interested to get maybe a thermal imager in there to see if there are any naturally occurring drafts that would cause dust to move in that particular way. It's interesting to me that Kath discovered these scratches on her face. They're very pronounced, and she has no recollection of actually causing the scratches herself, and I find that absolutely fascinating. However, it could be a subconscious movement, so she could have easily accidentally caused the scratches herself when she moved aside her hair, or even just scratching her face, but it's a subconscious movement, it's a habit of some sort, and that may have caused the marks that we see here in the footage.
When I first walked into the hotel, I didn't believe we would see or experience anything paranormal. How wrong I was. The light anomalies, Kath scratches, the noises, EMF fluctuations, and of course, the moving furniture. The Station Hotel in Dudley certainly lived up to its reputation, and if you don't believe in ghosts, Why don't you try spending the night, preferably in room 214? Sleep tight.
Oh, my head feeling, dude. I really do.
I'm really sorry, guys. I've made a bit of
That's all right, just leave it like that.